Hello, everyone. Welcome at the PAM Blockchain Conference. I'm Lisa, Senior Business Analyst at the PAM Systems and crypto enthusiast. And today we are going to talk about the unusual mixture of NFTs, arts, music, metaverse, and even various connections in between. Let me introduce our guest. Here is Gleb Divov. We can define Gleb as a creative technologist and transdisciplinary immersive artist. It sounds a little bit complicated, right? I can hardly pronounce it, sorry, Gleb. So let me try to describe him in a bit more personal way. I was really deeply impressed by his biography. Imagine you have a lot of hobbies, talents, and fantasies in an absolutely different spheres. And would you have to choose and focus just on one of them? Or will you try to connect all you know and even don't know, that you like, and create something absolutely unique? So here is that man. Here is Gleb. And before I will, Gleb will greet us. I will add some more points. He is a software developer and system engineer since 19th. Besides, he's a showbiz professional. He's been working for more than 20 years, and even with well-known stars like Prodigy, Rammstein, and even Paul McCartney. Can you imagine it? He's a composer and producer in showbiz. Besides, game industry also wasn't left behind. He's been an editor and journalist in some gaming media, so he has this experience as well. And now, Gleb, how can you connect so many different hobbies? Do you like everything?
Hello. Good question. It's not about like or dislike. It's something that you just live this life and I don't know, you naturally go in step by step and you look at what you can do more. So it's in a natural way. It's nothing about like I need to think how to connect or I need to think how to create something. So it's all like in the flow.
I mean, I don't know many IT guys who have such a creative background. It seems quite different universes, but you connect all these things. So we,
That's absolutely true. And I'm one of the, I don't know, one of the luckiest person that I know, like from at least three industries. So it's like you mentioned, so it's software development, it's show business, and also culture. So I don't know, probably the best way to start talking about what I'm doing and how we connect in all this NFT, music, culture, and stuff is to have some short insight about me. So in last years, what I'm doing, I'm connecting culture and technology on different levels. So uh, probably to start the thing is to the best way to describe why I'm doing it is to go back in pre-90s and 90s and explore some that stuff. So at that time I was a regular guy, just like everyone. So for me it was really natural to be myself. At the same time, I was always connected with all sort of technology thanks to my parents. And in late 80s, I got a first computer and I started experimenting already. First, I was completely lazy and still I am so lazy that you cannot imagine. So for me, it was like, okay, computer can't produce sound, but like, why should I learn any musical instrument? So that was the beginning why I started learning programming. So then later in 90s, I became a commercial software developer. So I was working mainly with databases and all this stuff that was connected with finances and serial things. At one point, it was like, okay, that's the thing that you can like earn money. On the other side, it was completely uncreative in a way. So I turned my focus to that, like, okay, I'm still a musical guy. So I was performing, I was playing, and so on and so on. And I started just programming music. So that was my first attempt to connect some sort of like music culture and stuff with technology. Then, like, fast forward to next century, I was already working in show business, and I was like, I'm the lucky person who worked in show business in all sides. So on the stage performing, in front of stage as the visitor, and behind the stage, who was preparing, producing, organizing, and all these things. And that was already some sort of experience which just brought me an idea that, like, okay, there is a lot of things that unoptimized, and you can just create some technical things that help you to do that stuff. At the time, I was really lucky to met the inventor of electric guitar and one of the greatest inventor of 20th century, Les Paul. So we, like, I don't know, we somehow got friendly, like we were just like friends in a way. So I thought about like what I'm doing, and I got the best blessing of my life. So he was just like, never stop doing what you're doing. And so that was for me like okay, I got it. So like if this guy told me to be like that, that's probably the best thing that I can do ever. And I started implementing my all this sort of technical and cultural innovations and mixing them and creating this explosive fusion. And at that time, for me, it was more like on the technical, on the hardware software level, create some sort of just a solution for creative industry or for artists and something like that. So since I was already like friend with a lot of different artists all around the world, I was just exploring what they're doing and what is their focus. So at that time, probably in the beginning of 2010, there was already some like Bitcoin appeared and a lot of new things happened. Since I was working on that like innovative field, I was already exploring that. And my first thing was like, oh, okay, it's like some new technology that I never been interested before. And right now it's not my focus, but maybe sometime later it will just like, it will click for me. And back in 2015, with the appearance of Ethereum, Imogen Heap released single Tiny Human, and that was the great signal for me, as I really like, I personally like Imogen, and she's so great with all her innovative approaches. So she's another example of creative technologists who creating music and doing all these things with the glows that allow you to control music like this. And at that time it was like, oh, okay, so if she using that, so for me it's already the time to explore that. So that was the beginning of my, let's say, blockchain journey, and thing that led to where I am now. During that time, I already moved to Lithuania, to Republic of Užupis. That's the beautiful republic which proclaimed independence, independence back in '98. So it's not officially on the government level, but it's recognized in the world. So it's independent artistic Republic of Užupis. Beautiful place where you can be just somebody who doing your stuff, or you can meet and work with greatest people like with Dalai Lama. And that was really inspiring place where I just focused on what I'm doing and said like, okay, right now I'm just like throwing away all the stuff that is not really interesting, and I'm focusing on my culture tech approach. And there I created my fair ecosystem, which right now at the moment is the leading private culture tech ecosystem, as some people from Ministry of Culture said. So that was the start of something bigger, in a way that you can use modern technology, look at it creatively, and with your creative approach, just create something different. So if not that journey from 80s until now, that would just like never happen. And with the ecosystem, as we started, so first thing that I created was the musical blockchain, and what it was back in the 80s. So I'm lazy, I don't want to learn instrument, but I'm synesthete. So I'm all my life living with the melody in my head. So I'm just, I don't know, I can look at something and get the melody. So at that time I was like, okay, I don't want to learn any instrument. Why computer just cannot take the melody out of my head, drag it, and give it to me to edit? So like, okay, natural question by a kid. And as you remember at that time, like grass was greener, computer were bigger, technology was not available. So that was natural thing that like, oh, okay, it's right now not available. And it all went to the back of my memory. The other thing that since probably 2007, 8, I was leading my own research in audio therapy. So again, connecting some serious stuff like psychology and technology, and how to use technology for something that really making great things for humans. Uh, Back to 2015, 16, 17, out of experiment, I suddenly, instead of audio therapies, mainly using frequencies and some sounds, not music, so it's not musical therapy. Out of experiment, I got the melodical phrase, which was connected with some sort of visuals that was connected to experimental part. And for me, it clicked like, okay, if I had this idea back then, why I cannot just like revive that and try with my new technology, with my new things that I invented. It was psychological matrix, which allowed to connect different sorts of emotions, visuals, and music and sounds and so on and so on. Why I just like not try to create something that drag the melody out of my head again? So that was the beginning of the musical blockchain. At the same time, looking creatively at the blockchain technology, like, okay, proof of work is so energy wasting. But if you look at musicians in the studio, what they're doing, they're trying to find consensus when they trying to build the melody. So I was like, so the music is the chain of notes linked in a one huge chain, and all the parts secured by the harmony. So that was the idea, how to adapt the blockchain technology to music from my side, from like with my approach. And that was the thing, that you can use the same idea that like Bitcoin using for mining something, throw away all the like, just like you just deleting the part that wasting energy and putting your own algorithm, which we called proof of harmony, to actually what like first impressions was like, are you mining music? And I was like, not really. We're just using decentralized improvisation. So that was the thing which was created in 2017, and we publicly launched that in 2018. Straight away, a lot of people came over, so we were participating in conferences. We, using this technology, were participating in all the things. And the best thing that I was straight away promoting, like, okay, in 2017, when I started doing this, there was no ERC 721 as the NFT standard. So it was really just about the blockchain part, but with the appearance of the standard, I was straight away like, okay, so we can also make NFTs out of any melody that we're doing. And that was like, okay, NFT and the audio NFT, as we proposed back in 2018, that was in the DNA of the system. So we started promoting this, using this for education, using all this thing together. And that just led to the point that right now we have 10 international awards and mentions by European Commission, like Ministry of Culture and so on and so on, as crazy people who just connecting technology and making something completely different, and at the same time making like mind-opening and eye-opening things for other people, that like, okay, there is technology, but it's not about let's say gaining money, finances, and all these scams, but like blockchain is not a Bitcoin, and it's not like all these profile pictures with monkeys and so on and so on. So it was a great way to showcase that it could be different, and it's completely different. So at that time, okay, the other thing about the musical blockchain, that it also create the snapshot of the process and visualize it as an artist. So that was the back process of usage of the psychological metrics. And the thing is that with the creation of digital art, we have some things that you have as future NFTs and so on and so on. But next question, like, okay, I have music, I can listen it with the headphones or play with the speakers. I have digital art, I can only show, I don't know, on the phone or on the computer. What to do next with that? That naturally, like, and my participation in all this NFT movement and all these communities naturally led to, okay, we need to create exhibition. If we want to create exhibition, we need to create something that will be really nature in a natural way, show this as the art and not just like, I don't know, screensavers or slideshows. At that time, I generated, so the thing was that in 2019 in April, NASA released the data for Event Horizon, from Event Horizon telescope, so data on the black hole. And we were working with NASA representative for, there was the project created Planet Radio. So we getting the constant data from NASA from like in a real time, and with musical blockchain, we generating the soundtrack of the planet. So out of the data that we got from the Event Horizon telescope, we generated the visual and the soundtrack. And I was like, okay, I have all these NFTs on our internal blockchains. Why not to try to mint it on a normal one? So that was the appearance of the first Lithuanian that, like, until now, there is a lot of I don't know, talks that it's not the first one, that was the first before. And I'm like, show me the timestamp. Like, we live in the 21st century. You want to tell you're the first, like, show me the timestamp, and I will say, okay, this is the first one. So the one that was the representative, like a representation of the black hole in a way that musical blockchain see and hear it. So this was minted in 2019. And straight away, I was like, okay, we need to show that, so people will come over and say like, oh, it's not another computer, I don't know, some computer game or some slideshow or something. We need to do something differently. So in 2000, back in 2000, even 2018, in the end of the year, we organized first pop-up exhibition, and we used different types of the screens. And we invited our friendly psychologists for simple tests. So they created just a questionnaire, and they looked how people are reacting at different types of the screens. So the one that we used for gallery frame, which was created a bit later, that was the winner of the first pop-up exhibition. And since then, we just started using this frame as a prototype for showcasing digital art. Looking back into the history and what we are just like exploring right now, how we showcasing the art right now, that's so far the best one, the best example, how to showcase your any type of digital art and see the reaction of the people, that they are looking like, wow, this is art. So they really like simple trick with the framing and proper framing, doing a lot for the value of the artwork. But back to the musical blockchain. So I started playing music with that. And one of the first things that was really important for me is to create something for people, not to showcase that I'm cool and I have this technology, but to involve them into the process. So we started doing artificial live performances. And the main idea was to involve different sort of people to improvise with this blockchain and AI based technology. So we had a lot of different concerts. Then, since we're working with visual data, next approach was to invite artists to collaborate. And that was really great to see that artist was digging the process and saying like, okay, I would like to use my painting as the musical instrument. So one of the artists which created these pictures was making it from the scratch. So he was making like the first layer. We were generating the one track. Second layer, we were generating a new track, and he was like, oh, I'm tuning your AI to create the music that I want with my picture. So it was like human computer interaction in a way of playing. So that was like never seen before thing that just, okay, artist decided to take over the process, and at the same time he was really interacting with that. So that was really inspiring. So we started developing thing which we call Jam Studio, and that's the musical instrument which is based on the technology and which allow you to use keyboard or guitar, so you can just like play something and computer replying to you. So you playing with your partner in studio. So that's something that really removes the question, will AI take over? And if AI is the replacement of the talent. So it's never will be like from our side, and from like, in my opinion, as long as I'm doing it, AI will never be a replacement of the talent, and it will be the creative partner in the studio. At the same time, next thing which was really important is to use that for a proper education. So as I mentioned before, we started using this technology as the example how this could be different. So how technology can help you learn something. And first it was about creative development of kids. So we collaborated with the Japanese VV Accelerator and created a lot of classes for that. At the same time, we collaborated with universities around the planet and started using this for improvisation example, like technology for improvisation from the other side. Then using the same technology and using the other devices that I created to just measure the noise of the city and how city develops and so on and so on. I launched the initiative which called Sound Change the City, Sound Change the Planet. This way, we're looking at the city through the perspective of the sound. We're getting important points about the noise, sound pressure, sound pollution, and all these things. Like it's more about audio soundscape of the city. But what makes it more important, from the district where we collected data, we're taking this data, feeding it into the musical blockchain. Musical blockchain creates the melody. Then we going back to the district and getting musicians who live in that district and performing with them the music which was created by AI. So it's like some multi-road thing which allow you to involve people, tell them the importance, tell about the importance of this exploration and research, tell them how sound can affect, for example, mental health and so on, and just like regular health. And just let them play music and have fun. So it's like connecting again all together from like completely different perspective. So back to the exhibitions, using Gallery Box and Gallery Frame. Gallery Box is the platform that allows you to display all these things without a lot of computers and so on, like it was before. My first thing was like, okay, it's 2019, nobody knows, like almost nobody knows about NFTs. How can I do it in a way that people at least like change the mindset? So I created small pavilion near our town hall square. And that was the first public exhibition in Lithuania, which were showcasing exactly NFTs. So artists who I invited to participate was those who right now are one of the coolest digital artists, like in the NFT sphere and around. And that was so great. Since then, we are just creating a lot of things. At that time, it was really like a short period, but that led to the creation of the first NFT gallery in Baltics using the same technology. And that led to many other things because my main idea was like, okay, I was an artist before, so 20 plus years passed and nothing have changed. So imagine I'm a student, I'm in the university, I just passed my exams, and I'm like, okay, right now I'm an artist with diploma and so on and so on. I would like to have an exhibition. You go into the gallery and the gallery says like, where you had exhibition before? And you're like, I have a diploma. And they're like, no, 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 no. First, go have at least some exhibitions and bear international, and then return to us and we can let you participate in our selection for next season. So like it's until now the same. So I was like, what can I do with my technology? So I started creating different small galleries in different countries. So first it was in the Baltics, so Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. Then in Germany, I created small galleries which are interconnected, and that called Multiverse Gallery Network. So it allowed me to use the Gallery Box platform to, with one button, change the exhibitions in all these galleries. And at the same time, it allowed me to create gallery tour for the artists. So back to student coming to me and saying like, I would like to have an exhibition. I'm like, okay, you have 1 week in 4 countries. So with one click, I'm letting students have international exhibitions, which they can put in their CV and then go to the same local gallery and say like, look, I have diploma, I have the CV where I have 4 international exhibitions. Maybe right now situation changed. So that was natural way from my side to like, okay, I can contribute to the process and create something like make the world a bit brighter. And at the same time, using this technology, I was like, great, I can not only do these small exhibitions, but I can use the same technology, which allow me like with the low footprint, go to any international exhibitions and showcase art of my friends and of new artists who just like appearing every day. So that was the thing which again proved the concept of the whole gallery box gallery frame showcase. And like, okay, we're creating something right now, we need to switch back to educating people. So with all the educational meetups and workshops and so on, we always wanted something bigger. So back in 2021, we were collaborating with Kaunas 2022, which is right now the European Capital of Culture. And the idea was to create a hackathon. So main idea came from my friends from the team, and they were really like, we like the idea to create something. For me, it was like, okay, you can create something, it's not a problem, but you have to have something bigger. Like, is it heroic or is it monumental? So we looked at it from the other side. So we have right now problem with the sustainability. We have NFT with the bad look just because it's like about financing and scam and money and so on and so on. And at the same time, we have a lot of creators who have no idea about that. So why not to combine 3 things and create something beautiful? And that led to the creation of NFT Kaunas, which was first in-person hackathon in Baltics and in Europe. And it involved the main challenges about sustainability from European Commission, things about all these educational things to show that NFTs and blockchain and Web3 and metaverse and even like all the things that surrounding it with great examples and so on is not the bad thing, but it can be just completely different. And at the same time, it allowed us to connect with a lot of new friends, same IPAM, to put all the knowledge in the new way. So we had this beautiful hackathon, and after the hackathon, we organized exhibition in one of the main exposition space of one of the biggest shopping center in Kaunas. And imagine in this shopping center daily, through this space, walking about 40,000 people. So it means that in a month that we had this exhibition, we passively educated about 1 million of people. It's not about that they need to read on something, but they just naturally going through and just reading like, okay, NFT, okay, metaverse, something like that. So it goes like in the head and just like working as a mindset change. So you never need to go and tell you need to know this and this. So it's just passive way, but it works really great just because in some years there already will be a change and they will remember that they saw it already back then and it will be comfortable for them to accept the change. So that was really like really great experience to work with artists to create some these huge bionic structures. Like we really wanted to use the word monumental, so we created this 8.5 meters high constructions with the screens. So you just go in there and you're like, oh wow, it's really cool. So this was the thing which again I never wanted to be a crazy professional who going and saying like, you need to do this or we're cool and you're doing it wrong. No, we just like allowing others to see that there is always could be look from the other side. At the same time, we just not only focused on the like new technology. One of the greatest technologies like from 40 years ago, teletext, still there. So in the beginning of the year, we created a small collection of the teletext art and collaborated with German satellite Sat1. So we had exhibition which was about that teletext can be art too in all television sets in Germany. It means that you can just like go to teletext with just a remote, change the page to like 500 something and have the collection. People from some museums in Europe were so impressed that they took our collection into the permanent collection of the museum. So right now we have NFTs which are in the permanent collection. And at the same time, during last week, there was Ars Electronica exhibition, one of the probably greatest and most important for media artists and for culture tech, art tech. So we had 2 exhibitions there, and one was looking like this installation. So real TVs with teletext, showcasing that teletext is art. And we also had great presentation about our vision and how we're storing this teletext on the blockchain. And in 100 years, explorers like digital researchers, digital archaeologists who will be digging through the blocks of the blockchain will suddenly find out that teletext naturally was basically about art and all other things about information was just like, okay, optional. So we again kind of contributing for the like to the history in a way. So like we right now at the point where we are now. So as we wanted to just have a small talk about the future, in my approach, what I will definitely do about the future is since I'm doing all these things, I will contribute my time and my knowledge and so on to create a research institute, which will be researching all these things. And at the same time, like I'm doing with students and my companies and so on, I will make some sort of accelerator for them that will be really helpful. But in a way, how is it going right now with the whole, let's say, NFT world and Web3 and Metaverse? This could be compared to the picture where tulip price index from January 1634 to December 1637. So it's like something that like you are here, but it will be bigger. So that's the thing which allow me to say that right now we're in the place where it is wild, wild west. And as long as you can imagine and create something crazy, you're in the right way. So I guess right now we can just like skip all other parts, turn off my monotonous monologue and back to the discussion.
Yeah, all you've been talking about is so much different from I usually hear. I've been working in IT all my life, and your life and your work is so much different from what I know. So I was scared to interrupt you in order not to miss something important, but I have so much questions.
Great, let's go.
Yeah. I still can't get you. Uh, just please understand me. I work in IT and I'm not so much creative as you, Gleb. And I'm missing what's the step between digital art, which was spread maybe already in 2000 and even earlier, but how did it become NFT? Because I know that you are one of those NFT pioneers, people who are like the core of this society. What's this step? How can I understand if this piece of digital art is just a picture and that piece of art is already NFT? And does it make some additional sense to it?
There is, well, digital art was already, I think, back in like with the first computers. So it was not really that digital the way we used to see it now, but that was already at the time. And it was already some sort of, let's say, romanticized by the artists who were creating that digital art, but they haven't had any tools to make a trace and put the metadata into that until probably appearance of some modern standards, which allow to store the metadata, but that metadata could be easily changed. So it's like you created the picture, you have your digital art, you put in your metadata, someone else taken your picture, stripping out the metadata and put on metadata and claiming like, okay, that's my picture. And you're not about that. So if you have this NFT, like NFT certificate, I call it usually like that. So artists usually asking like, okay, I would like to create NFT, what it will be. And I'm like, imagine this, that NFT is just a digital certificate, which prove that you are the after. This is like, this thing can be just like traded using the blockchain technology and then all these platforms and so on and so on. And there is some other additional things like secondary sale, secondary market, and I don't know, some additional locks and so on and so on, which can go with it. So that's the thing which you can create yourself and you can in a way protect yourself. So to see if it's like, okay, I have this picture, if it's NFT or not, you need to see the source, where it comes from. And in this part, there is really great thing about the community behind the NFT world and let's say blockchain art and blockchain plus culture world. Uh, a lot of examples how in the standard art world, people just like creating copies and trying to say like, oh, okay, I'm owning this copy and or I'm the after original one and this costs much more. The blockchain community first have fantastic thing about the timestamps. Like if you created it and you the one who created it, you have already some statement that, okay, you are the one. And the community, usually if you're creating something and you participate in community, if there will be some imposter who will create or just steal your work and claim that this is mine, community will come over and say like, look, first of all, you're wrong, like think about what you're doing, and then this is the exact link which shows that why you're wrong. So in a way, you cannot say like having a picture you can get if it's NFT or not, but you can find out. And at the same time, there is a lot of tools already which work in the same way like Google image search. So it allows you to find exact pictures somewhere else. And you can find among that links if it was posted or not.
Yeah, that's true. I always notice that, for example, I'm preparing some presentation for my job and I'm looking for some image in Google, and I really don't know if I can use that image, if it's legal or it's already a copy of and not legal.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sure.
And Gleb, is it right? You mentioned that you started to work in NFT back in 2017, while I think many of us first heard of NFT just last year when there was a hype news about this picture with monkeys sold for millions of dollars. Is it true that you already were developing that technology already 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's right. We
And
were like we were the small community at that time, and it was really great experience. So it reminds me about like how it was back in the IRC days, back in probably 94, 95. There was a lot of people from like all around the world. It's not like in a amount how much people there was, but in a great knowledge that they were delivering and they were sharing. So the same thing was about the beginning of all this like platforms like OpenSea, SuperRare, Non-Origin, and so on and so on. And in a way, I was developing my own part, for example, with musical blockchain, but at the same time, I wanted to tokenize music. And I looked at the limitations of the system. So I came over and said, like, hey guys, I have a problem. Right now, my file is 95 megabytes. So how can I store it on the blockchain in a proper way? So that was like my, let's say, my impact on the system, on the whole system, on the whole community, that led to appearance of music and music NFT movement. So we just at one point agreed that like, okay, for music and for visuals, we're just choosing MP4 format. And then just IPFS expanded the limits for storing this MP4 format. And that was the way how we were interacting at that time. Right now, it's like everybody's cool. Everybody's just like, so some sold their business, some just cool and don't have time. Some just, I don't know. People are different. It's okay. Like we're all different. But at that time, that was really a great experience, which straight away reminded what was back in 90s. So really the thing which in a small and quiet position can create much more than after the hype. And for me, it's like hype began in 2020 probably with the rise of the Clubhouse when Elon Musk appeared there, and then Elon Musk just created his own NFT, and with all this like Dogecoin and so on and so on. So it was back already at that time, it was the hype. So for media, it came back in 2021 just because it was so full in that community that it just like flipped over.
yeah, that's true. Whatever Elon Musk touches, it becomes a sensation.
That's the Musk effect.
Yeah, that's true. I also have another question. Is it a global standard for NFT? I mean, was it kind of group of people who were thinking what metadata is required in order to, I don't know, to describe some particular object, or there is no global standard? It could be custom.
Yeah, I understand. There is the standard for NFT just in general, and there is a lot of implementations, and there is a lot of substandards on different blockchains, which mainly, from my point of view, in some way copying the original one on Ethereum. And Ethereum one was just the standard of non-fungible token with metadata. So it's something like you can, like I mentioned, it's wild west. You can do whatever you want, just use the main standard to store it, but you can expand it the way you want. When we propose, for example, audio NFT, and we propose that to record industry, the main thing that they said, like, no, we don't want it now. So right now, after 5 years, they return them back and say like, oh, okay, so maybe the idea was right. So it's like, in a way, like if you're pioneering something, it's the thing that you need to know that you need to wait until the time will come. So you need to be in the right time and the right place with your idea to make it new standard. The other way, you will be just like, oh, okay, that's crazy pioneer, nothing special. But you need to have your internal power to just like not to throw that away and go your way if you believe in it.
By the way, do you know any case? I don't know, maybe some world-known star has created his or her musical NFT? Because I read a lot about digital images, some hypes, but do you know someone who made his music or song in NFT?
Yeah, of course. So it's like, I don't know, starting from same Snoop Dogg, which collaborated with one of old friends, like from this crypto art scene, and up to a lot of, but mainly like that's in America. Not a lot of musicians in Europe trying to do that, but there are some, and we are just like working with some of them. So I'm doing the same way. I'm just like opening the whole vision, how this could be like from that side or from that side.
You are a real pioneer. You're leading us to the future.
Good
Do
wizards are in the lead.
by the way, our dear public, you are really welcome with your questions at Q&A tab, because I have a lot of my questions, but if you have any, please join our talk. And
Come on, I would like to
if
have all
we
the
don't have
questions.
enough time, yes, to read your question, Gleb could come back to this web page and make a reply in written form, just as comment.
Yeah, sure. Or just like
You're welcome.
find me personally. So I'm really open for conversation, for a talk. So really welcome everyone.
Yeah. And I have another question. Um, Again, I'm not a creative girl. I work in IT, and maybe my questions are quite simple, but still, I heard that some traditional museums make copies of some quite old pieces of arts and say, okay, you can buy NFT of, I don't know, Apollo statue, or I don't know, Mona Lisa picture. But when we were showing slides, you mentioned that new pieces of arts were created as NFT. The first layer was manual by artists, and there was some AI or work as well. And I mean, what do you think? Should NFT be a new art, or can we just save our traditional arts and say, okay, we have NFT, it belongs to someone, it was created in some age. I mean, can we just make some special metadata? What do you think about it?
You know, right now, one of the greatest human I know, Nathan Karchmar, who is the pioneer of art of communication. So he was working with digital media back in 80s last century. So right now we're great partners and we're creating some sort of the things. And one of my, let's say, side project. So it's not like the one that we doing. It's one that I'm doing for him, is to use the modern technology to save all his work that was created like from back from 50s probably until now, and to have representation in metaverse on the blockchain and other way digitally, which will be available. So in a way of let's say preserving all this art and cultural things, it's the great way to look into the future, how to preserve all these things without let's say regular museums and so on and so on. In a way, how museums doing it, it's more about like profiting from existing art and not about making something I don't know, same Mona Lisa on the exposition and so on and so on. So you can go into the museum. For some of the people, it's really great to have a signed copy of Mona Lisa in their home, but we live in a new reality. For some of the people, it will definitely be important to have the NFT of the original Mona Lisa from the museum. So it's something about new way of consuming art. So that's the point, I guess. At the same time, we're living in the 21st century, in the new world. We're going more virtual. So this way, uh, like I mentioned before, like, okay, I have this metaverse home and I would like to have original paintings on the wall. It's something that already changed the mindset of the people, that you can really own original thing. So you can be original and own original. And it's not like I will just like pirate that or have the, I don't know, some copy of something, and that will be enough for me. It's something that really in the hand, and it's like, it's really great for artists, because like for me as an artist, if somebody will have a copy of my work, that would be okay, yeah. But if they will come over and say like, I would like to buy from you your work, that's the way that like they showing their respect. It's like, it's not about like they want to do something, they just respecting the process, the creation process. So it's something that's still not there, and we are all together doing a lot to change that, because the whole community that just consuming without giving back is not really good. Like same way, we working with Bill Drummond, which as you may remember, the band KLF from 90s, which was the uh, best-selling techno music act, or I don't remember how Britpop scene called them. So I'm curating Bill's residence, and at the same time, I'm one of the hosts of the No Music Day. It's the celebration which will be which happened every November on the 21st. And it's about the general cheapening of the music, because people just consuming music. So it's the day where we just proposing to be without any music and think what music for you, why you're listening to it, and what it means for you, and what you want from music. So that's something that really should happen to change the mindset on all these things, like copying just an art from the museum and just selling it. So it's not about consumption, it's about really enjoying, understanding, and even working on the creative way. Like if it inspires you, that's great, that's fantastic. That's another thing to make the world go round and make it better.
Yeah, that sounds like a mission. I really
Kind
have
of.
so many other questions, but we need
I see that time is
to
running out.
finish our talk.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So everyone, you're welcome to add your questions here at Q&A, and Gleb will come back and comment, or find Gleb. Here are his contact info. And thank you so much for this enjoyable talk. And our guests, you're welcome. There is a next talk in a few minutes. Just stay online. There will be a talk about pictures and NFTs. So all relevant topic, but another speaker.
Absolutely next step, but from completely other side. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here, and that was really great to share my crazy experience and just a crazy creative approach. I'm happy to work with IPAM, and so thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.